dishevelled. We don't shave on weekends, do we?
No, we've got good faces for radio.
Had you known that this was going to be broadcast to the world in video, perhaps you would have. So youtube.com/Vaughan Davis TV to see Mr. Paul Brislen and I. How's your weekend been going, Paul?
Not too bad, actually. Not too bad. Long. It's a long weekend. What's not to like?
It totally is a long weekend. It's a long weekend of work for me because not only am I hosting Sunday Social as usual, I'm back in the chair tomorrow from 3 to have a crack at Drive.
Ooh, what time's that kickoff?
That's at 3.
That's at 3. Yes, you did say
3,
that.
At
yes.
3 from 3 to 6. So if you want the long version, tune in tomorrow for Drive. Now the big news, of course, this weekend, tragically developing right now, has been in Nepal, and this is a country with kind of pretty deep connections to New Zealand going back quite some time. A major earthquake. Looks like thousands ultimately may be dead, and this has been covered comprehensively on Radio Live and the news bulletins, and I hope to speak to a couple of experts tomorrow on Drive. But an angle that interests me, here on the social media show, is of course the internet and social media angle, and that's got another Kiwi connection, because a lot of the ways that people are using the internet and social media to connect and cope originated from, or in the aftermath of, the Christchurch and then the Japan earthquake. So, Paul, what are the options for people if they want to connect with people, find out if they're okay, and generally get some information?
Stay connected, because that's what social media is all about. It's about remaining in touch, even when people are traveling around the place. The one thing that I always stress to anybody I know who's traveling is to register with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. MFAT, and you can do that through safetravel.gov.nz.
Safetravel.gov.nz.
That's right. And that at least you hear about. We know there are 17 New Zealanders in the region, and we are trying to track them down at the moment. That gives you a place to put your itinerary.
People actually do that? Because I mean, we travel overseas. I've been 5 times in the last 4 months overseas. That
never done anything of it.
Enter my head.
I guess it's really for people who are going to either places where there is obvious danger, third world places, places with natural disasters going on.
Ohura?
Probably not.
It's more foreign than domestic.
Yes, exactly. It's for the long-term trip as well.
Ohura might be quite dangerous for me at the moment.
I think you get into a lot of trouble if you get shot down.
It'll be because of the nasty things I wrote about Ohura at nbr.co.nz, which was more of an allegory, I think.
I think so.
A specific instance.
It will hurt less that way when you do get shot down.
So the old-fashioned online way to keep yourself safe is to register at Safe Travel.
At least then we can find out. We know where you are. We know whether to look for you, whether not to look for you, whether you pass through. I think it's a great idea. Good starting point.
So let's just imagine for one crazy moment that we didn't register at safetravels.gov.nz, or our family didn't, and they're trekking in the Himalayas. What else you got?
Well, if you are caught up in something and you want to tell everybody about it, oddly, this is the one and only time I ever find Facebook useful. Post something to Facebook straight away to say where you are and what you're up to and that you're safe. Because once you've posted it, then at least everybody can look at your Facebook page instead of trying to ring you. The phone lines tend to get fairly overwhelmed in these kinds of situations.
Which is something which is a lesson that was learned in the Christchurch earthquakes.
It really was.
we had our mobiles and that's pretty much all we had. But we were connecting through Facebook to family, to employers.
That's right.
To
one to many. So you can tell lots of people all in one hit that
you can send one text to one person, or you can send to the whole world. Well, Facebook has notched things up a little bit, they've got a Mark Zuckerberg himself, or at least someone typing below a photo of him, announced that they'd activated their feature called Safety Check. I think Safety Check's only about 5-6 months old, and this is kind of an automatic version of this. And what it does is, whenever Facebook decides that there has been a sufficiently grievous natural disaster,
when the Americans have heard of it,
when some Americans have actually been injured or killed, it activates Safety Check. And this is kind of cool. So if it determines that you are a Facebook user and you are in that area, so you've made some sort of online announcement or connected to a network that indicates that you're in the area of the natural disaster, Facebook will send you a message pretty much saying, "Are you okay?" And you can answer this one of two ways. You can say, "Yes, I am okay," or "I'm not even in the area. You've got it wrong." And then that is automatically shared as an announcement on your Facebook wall so all your friends can see it. Which
So you don't have to do anything.
I kind of like.
That's
You just got to go, yes.
Yes, here I am, or here I'm not.
Exactly, which I think is kind of cool. But then Google, not to be outdone, has got its own People Finder service, right?
And that came straight out of the Christchurch quakes. Yeah. Where you can set up pages, you can make contact with people and find out a little bit more about who's safe, who needs help, what's going on. And then into the aftermath, of course, with fundraising. Google does a lot in that area as well.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Give Little page or two set up already to crowdfund that. So Google's Person Finder, easy to find. You just Google it. And not surprisingly, Google's stuff does pretty well on Google. And you'll get taken to a page where you've just got two choices. I'm looking for someone, or I have information about someone. So if you think Vaughan Davis is trekking in the Himalayas, go there, enter my name, and you'll find all the names that have a rough match. And if you know that Vaughan Davis is safe in the Himalayas, go there and say so, and Google will put those things together. We're going to hear a lot more about the story over the next few days, I'm sure. And if any of you have friends or family in Nepal, I just hope that they're safe and hope you're in contact with them real soon. Switching gears entirely now.
Pussycat, whoa, 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 what's new, pussycat, whoa, 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 pussycat.
Well, the internet, it has famously been said more than once, is made of cats. And I suppose this is the link to this next little story. This fascinated me. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin, which I don't think I've ever heard of a piece of research at all coming out of the University of Wisconsin. It's all your MITs and your Stanfords and your Princetons. Well, at the University of Wisconsin, they don't want to be written off. They've come out with some research that the world was waiting for. And what they have done is created music specifically for cats. And this music is not just specifically for cats. It's designed to evoke different moods in your cat at different times of the day. So if you want your cat to go to sleep, they've got some pussycat sleepy music. If you want your cat to be playful, they've got some music for that. What do you make of that, Paul?
I'm a little frightened by this because
you haven't heard it. That's why
I haven't heard the music.
You haven't heard it. Well, here is the music. Let's just play. We'll play. There's 3 tracks. We'll play a few seconds of each. I'm guessing that's the go to sleep one. Here's another one. That one sounds like helicopters
that's
coming.
The disemboweling mice one.
That's sort of a little bit scary. And here's the last one. Well, there you go. If your cat's listening to this and it's in the last 90 seconds, it's been sleepy, aggressive, and playful all at the same time, then the University of Wisconsin is on the money. I'm not so sure, to be honest. And people who've tried that on their own cats have had mixed results. Hey, if you want to see what this studio looks like, you want to see what Mr. Paul Brislen's wearing, we're wearing the same thing. We're wearing grubby old t-shirts and hoodies, and we haven't shaved in 2 days. But if you'd like to see that for yourself, don't take my word for it. Go to YouTube. There's a live stream on YouTube. We are everywhere we are. Go to youtube.com/Vaughan Davis TV. And Vaughan has just the one A. Mr. Rousel, if you're listening. Hey, one last story I want to talk about before we go to the break, and this is one of those only in America stories. Are you a Snapchat user, Mr. Brislen?
I am absolutely not a Snapchat user, and it does worry me that people do snap and chat, and they should learn a little bit from what's gone before, I think.
Yeah, so Snapchat is not just these days an image sharing service, it's also a video story sharing service. And this is the Only in America files. A guy who goes by the name of The Real Dr. Miami. Don't get him confused with other Dr. Miamis or some sort of fake Dr. Miamis. He is a plastic surgeon based in Miami. He does something like 1,000 boob or butt jobs. I learned something in researching the story. He does a lot of BBLs, Paul.
BBLs.
BBLs. Can you guess what that is? If you know, text me 3920 keyword live or tweet me at Vaughan Davis. No, I'll tell you. A BBL is a Brazilian butt lift. This is a cosmetic surgical procedure to lift your butt. He does about 1,000 of these a year.
Seriously?
Yep. And he just doesn't do them in privacy in his
that's 3 a day.
In his operating he has weekends off as well. He just doesn't do them in his operating theatre and then let bygones be bygones and lift that butt. He videos it, takes photos of it, posts the before and after on Snapchat and Instagram in gory detail, or he puts some of those cutesy little smiley stickers over appropriate parts of the anatomy, and it's going nuts. He's super popular on Snapchat, super popular on Instagram, and he is booked up solid, or should I say firm? I don't know. Firm is
lifted.
Firm is the word he's going
tucked.
for until the middle of next year. The Real Dr. Miami is his Instagram and Twitter handle. Hey, I'm Vaughan Davis. With me in the studio tonight on the radio, on the Periscope, on the youtube.com/Vaughan Davis TV. Hi, all you viewers. Oh, where's the camera wave over there? You're listening and watching Sunday Social. Back soon.
Robust, intelligent, and entertaining newsmaker interviews every day. Sean Plunkett.
So you would very subtly inject yourself into the situation where you see something developing, take that staff member, put them on another table or whatever, and just manage the situation subtly yourself.
Absolutely. The whole industry revolves around being great. But the most important asset that we have is our staff on the floor.
Prime Minister has repeatedly behaved in a sexist manner to a young woman in her workplace. He needs to stop doing that. I think he needs to...
And he has.
The most entertaining newsmaker interviews on New Zealand radio. Sean Plunkett, 9 till midday on Radio Live. It's Sunday Social with Vaughan Davis.
And welcome back to Sunday Social. And yes, indeed, don't worry, be happy. Well, we always used to say there are a bazillion apps out there and most of them are useless. Now there's 1.1 bazillion because it seems every man and his dog is making an app for something we can't even buy yet. I was in Sydney on Friday, not registered on safetravels.gov.nz. And I was very excited for about half an hour when I realised that I was in Sydney the day the Apple Watch launched, and I made my way on my way to my meeting down to the Apple store, and I was even more excited. There was no queue.
There was no queue.
There was
straight in.
There were no Apple fanboys running out with Apple Watches, despite it being the day the Apple Watch launched. And the reason there was no queue is because there are no watches. It is the Emperor's new watch. This thing was announced, it feels like 15 years ago, and then they postponed the date, and then it finally arrived, but it's not here.
Well, you can't buy it. No, you have to buy online.
But I must have all.
No, you can't have it.
I must have the new Apple things.
No, in fact, you've got to wait, and here in New Zealand, we've got to wait even longer to an undefined date.
Well, if you go to apple.co.nz, it says arriving 2015. Okay. Well, that sort of broadly covers it.
Yeah.
Well, let's just imagine. I did hear that more supplies will be coming in July, which makes me sound like a terrible fanboy. Let's imagine one of these watches does arrive. What will we actually hope to do with it, Mr. Brislen?
Well, it's an extension of your iPhone, so don't think you can do away with the phone and just have the watch. You've got to have them both. So that's your first stumbling block. It's not a standalone device. It's actually just an add-on. It's an extension.
An accessory.
So instead of, now the phones are so large, you can't actually carry them in your hand. You have to keep them in your bag or in your pocket.
Well, yours might be, but I just have a regular
mine's a little old too. But instead of the tedious task of lifting the phone up to look at the messages, you will be able to turn your wrist over to look at the message that has come through.
It must do more than that.
No, I think that's no, I'm sure it does. Who knows? Because it's all down to the apps that get developed for it. So far, they seem to have fallen into two categories: the sort of the sport and health fitness apps that monitor your heart rate and do things of this sort, which is all very well and good.
And banking, which Simone was talking about last week, but it was like getting blood from a stone.
Oh, she's very, very corporate when she wants to be, isn't she?
Very corporate.
Button
couldn't
down,
get a thing out of her.
Won't tell us anything. What I really like out of that, though, is on the back of my phone is my credit card in the form of a little sticker that sticks on the back of my phone.
You want the watch
that
to be a payment
in
thing.
my phone. I want to be able to swipe and pay.
I'm pretty confident the watch will be a payment thing. Hey, speaking of, what should we talk about? We've got an exercise app we could talk about.
Oh,
in the minutes remaining.
You see,
I think we should talk about the other app. This is a website. And this is why Paul, is why we should
get girls on the show.
Try not to have three guys on the show in one night. Well, this is the news, and the news is this. If you've got a message you would like to have written on a woman's breasts on your behalf, there's a website for that, and it is called, and I quote, tittygram.com.
Sorry, that URL again?
Tittygram.com. I'm tittering as I say tittygram. Tittygram.com, and it's a Russian-based website. And what it does, it calls itself like Uber for boobs. Everything's just like Uber. This is like Uber, Boober. Yeah, that was probably taken. Like Uber for boobs. This is how it works. You go to tittygram.com. You say, here's my message. Paul, look at me. I'm on some anonymous woman's breasts.
Yeah.
Pay them $10. They farm that message out to one of their community. Community is a loose term in this respect. Their community of outworkers who presumably stand in front of a mirror and are very good at writing backwards.
Yes.
And write the message
for a fee
in marker pen for the $10, of which they receive
37 cents.
A proportion. Upload it to the website and you get a link, and the end result is a picture of sort of from chin to
top of the brassiere
to top of the underwear. So it's not explicit. It's risque, possibly exploitative.
It's Benny Hill rather than XXX.
Okay. Yeah. Brands can do it as well, and Burger King, and I think maybe the Russian subsidiary of Burger King did it for the grand total of $29.95. $29.95. I've done some media placements in my time, my advertising job. That's kind of the low end. But you know what? It's okay. And do you know what makes it okay?
What makes it okay, Vaughan?
Charity makes it okay.
Oh, there we are. So we've got a charitable component.
Apparently, 2% of the proceeds.
One
That's an enormous 20 cents of every message they sell at telegram.com goes to a breast cancer charity.
I'm with you. I think I can see, though. I can see where we can go with this.
You're a little bit slack, Jordan.
Saggymanbreasts.com. We can do this. We can do moves.
Moobagram.
We can move it.
I like to move it. I think we've even got, we've even got the theme song.
I'm just going to check if that's available.
Welcome to the end of another testosterone, a particularly testosterone-packed show here on Sunday Social. I'm Vaughan Davis. If you want to hear the Alex Dong interview, it's at radiolive.co.nz under shows and Sunday Social. Next up, Mr. Graham Hill. Thank you very much, Alex, Paul, and my producer, Karen. I'm Vaughan Davis. Back next week.